Good morning children, welcome for today's biology class. So today let us study the chapter Biotechnology Principles and Processes. So what we studied in previous class. It is the continuation of tools of recombinant DNA technology. Now let us start the chapter. So first point, let us study regarding cloning sites. The vector should have a few or at least one recognition site to like the foreign DNA. Presence of a particular recognition site enables the particular restriction enzyme to cut the vector. Okay, so if foreign DNA is ligated at BAM H1 site of tetracycline resistant gene in the vector PBR322, the recombinant plasmid it loses the tetracycline resistance. Okay, so if we are introducing, so what happens? It is losing the tetracycline resistance. So if you want to select the non-recombinant ones from the recombinant one, that is transformants, how can you find out? So by plating upon ampicillin containing medium, we can distinguish. In ampicillin containing medium they will grow, but in tetracycline medium they won't grow. So from there we can distinguish. The transformants will grow on ampicillin medium. Okay, so first we are growing them, then later transferring them to a medium containing tetracycline. The recombinant, it will grow on ampicillin containing medium, but it won't grow on tetracycline containing medium. Okay, so but the non-recombinants will grow on both the media. So in this case, one antibiotic gene, it helps in selecting the transformants, and another antibiotic gene, here it is getting, that is resistant gene, it has been inactivated. So only one gene it is helpful in selecting the transformants. And we can distinguish the transformants from non-transformants. Okay, this is one method by giving antibiotic resistance. So we can find out. So this method, by using this marker, we can find out the transformants from non-transformants. So another method to differentiate between recombinants and non-recombinants is on the basis of their ability to produce color. So in this method, a recombinant DNA is inserted within the coding sequence of an enzyme called beta-galactosidase. So it results in the inactivation of the enzyme. If you are introducing new coding sequence, so it results in inactivation of the enzyme. So that's why you call that as insertional inactivation. The presence of chromogenic substance, it gives blue colored colonies. Okay, so if the plasmid in the bacteria does not have an insert, so they will produce that blue colored colony. Okay, so whereas the recombinant colonies, they won't produce any color. So why don't they produce any color? Because the enzyme producing color has been inactivated. The presence, it produces the chromogenic substance. When the chromogenic substance is there, it will produce blue colored colonies. If it is not there, it won't produce any color. So from here we can distinguish the transformants from non-transformants. This method you call that as insertional inactivation, because by inserting, so what happens? The enzyme gets inactivated. So that's why it is called insertional inactivation. So here the BAM PBR322, no? So that E. coli cloning vector has been given here. You can observe different type of restriction sites. Restriction sites HIND3 and even EcoR1. Okay, BAM H1, like that SAL1. So different it has been given. So how the names have been given for this restriction sites? On the basis of the different genus and the species of the bacteria from where it has been extracted. Already we studied for EcoR1 the same way, HIND2, then BAM H1, then SAL1, then PST1, like that for everything it has been given. But the first two you can learn, and the other three you can remember, but it won't be much asked in exam. Okay, so here ORI means that is origin of replication, that already we studied. Then ROP, it codes for the protein involved in the replication of the plasmid. ROP, it codes for the proteins involved in the replication of the plasmid. It is very repeatedly asked question in board exams. Next one, vectors for cloning genes in plants and animals. So here, one pathogenic bacterium called Agrobacterium tumefaciens. It infects broad-leafed crops including tomato, soybean, sunflower, cotton, but they won't affect cereals and all. So it causes tumors called crown galls. The tumor formation is induced by its plasmid, so that's why we call them as TI plasmid. Tumor inducing plasmid, so TI plasmid. The TI plasmid integrates a segment of its DNA termed tDNA into chromosomal DNA of its host plant cell. Okay, it causes tumor. The tDNA, it causes the tumors. As gene transfer occurs without human effort, the bacterium is known as natural genetic engineer of plants. As we are automatically it is happening, you call that as natural genetic engineer. So Agrobacterium tumefaciens, you call that as natural genetic engineer. The plant molecular biologists have started using TI plasmids as vectors to transfer the foreign genes into target plant cells. They use the version of the plasmid from the tumor forming gene. So in that the tumor forming gene, we are eliminating that. So that's why the transformed bacteria, they don't cause disease, but it can be used to transfer any other gene. Okay, so in this, the tumor forming gene, it is eliminated. That's why the transforming bacteria, they won't cause any disease, and it can be successfully used to make changes in target plant cells. Competent host for transformation with recombinant DNA. So DNA is a hydrophilic molecule. It cannot pass directly through cell membrane. The cell membrane is made up of lipid bilayer, so that's why it cannot enter. So in that case, some treatments are made in the host cell, so therefore they will become competent to take up the DNA. There are different types of methods are there. One is chemical method. In this method, so here we are treating the host with a specific concentration of a divalent cation such as calcium, which increases the efficiency with which DNA enters the bacterium through pores inside the cell wall. So the recombinant DNA can then be forced inside such cells by incubating the cells with recombinant DNA on ice. Then later we are placing them under high temperature, about 42 degrees Celsius, then putting back once again on ice. So by treating like this, enables the bacteria to take up the recombinant DNA. The other method is microinjection. In this method, the recombinant DNA is directly injected into the nucleus of an animal cell. This is microinjection. Next is biolistics or gene gun. This method is suitable for plants. In this case, cells are bombarded with high velocity microparticles of gold or tungsten coated with DNA. So this one you call that as biolistics or gene gun. The next is disarmed pathogen vectors. So in this method here the pathogen, we are making them to infect the cell, but we are making them disarming that. They won't be able to cause any disease. Without causing any disease, so they may be allowed to infect the cell. Okay, that you call that as disarmed pathogen vectors. Okay, so we studied various methods and various tools in recombinant biotechnology. So you study this, children. So if you have any doubts, you can contact me. Thank you. We'll meet in the next class.